Hello, everyone. My name is Ekaterina Kardakova. I'm an opera singer, voice, and public speaking coach. This is my podcast, The Sound of the Voice, and today I have a fantastic guest, my colleague, Aydin Yuriada. She's also a vocal coach and voice coach, and today we will discuss how the voice influence the speaking and how can you train a confident voice. Hello, Aydin. How are you?
Hello, Ekaterina. So nice to be here. Thank you.
Could you please tell me shortly how did you start your career as a voice teacher?
Well, I wanted to do singing, but my brain was saying I can't do that. So my my whole journey started with a mental block towards using my voice. So I studied, how to clear the blocks I had, my own self-doubts, so that I could step into more confidence. And it took a lot of confidence to set up my business, but it started very small. I started with one workshop for adults who wanted to sing for fun. But my business was called eventually Confidence in Singing because I recognized that using your voice and learning to sing builds confidence, and not just in the arena of singing and performing, but in every area of life.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because when we talked before, you said that you also have pretty long way to to your business, to your clients. What do you think? Why people are not confident enough when they want to sing? Because every time or let's say, very often I hear that people say, "Oh, no, 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 I cannot sing. No, 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 singing, no, I cannot sing it." If you know, dancing is not that fearful, but singing, oof. Why is
Yes.
it so?
Well, one of the big reasons is because when we make a sound, we don't consciously have a lot of control over the sound that comes out. Because even as I'm speaking, I hear the words I'm saying. I don't think them and then say them. So the way that the brain works and the way that sound in particular and speaking in particular or singing is done within the brain is it happens very fast. So we lack predictability. And when we want to sing and we haven't been practicing, when we haven't been using our voice in that way, we instinctively know I can't predict exactly how that's going to sound. And if you don't feel confident that you can predict what that sound is going to be like, you are going to lack confidence in your voice. So, a lot of actually learning to speak or learning to sing more with more confidence is about rehearsing and practicing because we feel better when we know what might happen. When we feel like I can predict that it will be at least okay when it comes out of my mouth. We feel vulnerable when we don't know. And I think singing is really a very vulnerable thing to do because it's so connected also to our emotions and our truth.
Mm. Interesting. You said before you're Irish and now you live in America, and you said that in your Irish tradition, people sing together. It's
Mhm.
pretty also similar to Russians because Russians always sing together, eating, dancing all the time, parties. You have it also this culture of singing, but you said that in America it's a little bit different. The thing is
Mm.
that I think that even people, even those one who think that they cannot sing, it's so much easier to sing in a group, right?
It is. And it is if you've grown up around music. I think a lot of the reason that some people feel comfortable singing is because they were around it more as a child. Perhaps they were listening to other members of the family singing. And even the act of listening actually helps you develop your own voice because your mind is analyzing what is happening. And
Mhm.
we often join in spontaneously if we listen to music. So I love to encourage people to sing because the health benefits in themselves are huge. And I think that social benefit of singing together is so beneficial as well. It's a pity it's lost in some cultures, but I can tell you in sports, especially in Europe, people sing at sporting events, Here in the US, I think singing tends to be more in the spiritual or religious arena, if people are using it in churches. It's not used quite as much in sports. Even here, like you'll see that people will really enjoy a performance at the beginning of a sporting event. It's Beyonce or someone singing the Star Spangled Banner. Um, I would love for more people to recognize that it's really good for us to sing together. It's really good. It's really good for our health. It's good for our mental health. And we should do a lot more if we can.
We are practicing not only singing but also confidence because
Mhm.
it's not that fearful to sing in a group than alone. But what do you think? What are the qualities everyone should have to sing? Do you really believe that there are some people who cannot sing, or everyone can sing? What do you think?
I think everyone should try to sing. If we look at some of the iconic musicians and the iconic singers, say even, people like Bob Dylan, Madonna, they're not considered, to be premium quality, singers. But they really connect with their audience. So to me, singing is about communication. It's about sharing something in our heart, something that we really feel strongly about, something that aligns with our values, something that we've had experience in, that we know or we feel deeply. And I found when I started teaching adult singing, especially inexperienced adults, they would bring a song that really meant something to them. And sometimes it was very emotional, but it was a way for me to get to know them. And it was a way for me to understand what it was they were processing in terms of what are they dealing with in their life? Is there some unresolved, pain that they may want to sing about? I remember one guy who was divorced recently, and he sang the saddest songs, I think, for the first 3 years. And then one day he started singing something happier. And I was so, so pleased for him. So I think that, the singing, it brings us somewhere. It teaches us something about ourselves while also developing confidence in that message that we have and in the voice that we have in order to communicate.
That's true. But what do you think? How to sound how confident? Maybe you could give some ideas, tricks, maybe an exercise, how to sound
Mhm.
confident, if especially if you don't feel it.
Yeah, well, clarity in terms of the voice, it really depends on how the structures of the throat are working. In the same way as you might do stretches before you go for a run, there are certain things that we do as vocalists, speakers, that help everything to maybe get a little bit more flexible and start working better. So my trick, this is something that I do myself every day if I need to speak and I wake up with that croaky kind of voice and I know, oh, I'm not going to sound good. I will do this one exercise that combines a humming sound, the M sound, and combines all of the vowels, E, E, A, O, U, into a silly noise that cats make. Meow, meow. Now, when we do a high meow sound, we'll feel the tilt in the cartilages of the neck. And that helps us to access more range in our voice. So, what can happen is if our voice is very monotone and we're speaking everything at the same level, it doesn't feel as engaging. People aren't going to respond as well because we want to add emotion in, we want to add our enthusiasm for our message in. So, we want to be able to move up and we want to be able to come back down, be serious. With the meow sound, it's going to unlock some of the pitches in our voice that we may not access when we're just chatting to friends. If we want to sound confident, we want to sound compelling, we want to make an impact, we want to be influential in some way, then this type of exercise, meowing, is very useful. So I think we should try it together. Would you try it with me, Ekaterina?
Yeah, sure. I just remembered, do you know this duet by Rossini, the Cats duet? It's so
Oh,
funny.
really?
Do you know it? No? Because for
No.
opera singers, it's a standard kind of, at the end of the concert when people say, oh, encore, encore, usually we sing, if we sing with colleagues, and this meow Cats duet by Rossini.
Well, that's a fabulous thing to use more at the beginning of the day if you're a singer, because the meow sound. So I would usually start at a lower range. So we go meow. That's fairly easy for most people to do, but we want to kind of bring it up. So I would say pretend the cat is a little scared. Meow. There's an extra push, then we feel more of the vibration. Meow. There's more of an edge in the voice, and that's exercising everything here. And then if we want to say, let's think of an angry cat. Meow, like stay away from me, like I'm a scrawny, angry cat. You might not hear it very well on Zoom if it's blocking my sound, but it's like a real screechy meow sound. So the more we go up, the more it unlocks the flexibility in our neck, and that will allow your voice to sound a lot better. When you speak a few minutes after doing a few of those, honestly, you'd be so shocked how much easier it is to sound good.
I love it. Meowing is always, I also love it. This,
When it's playful, it's so much easier. So people get too serious, right? They don't really they take themselves too seriously. In the end, nobody's perfect. But if you have something to say and if it really matters, it's worth trying. It's worth attempting to say it. And if you can prepare by writing what you want to say down, sometimes that's a really beautiful preparation because it really clarifies what you want to say. By speaking it out loud, by recording yourself into your phone, and then doing a few little vocal warm-ups, that can be a game changer so that when you walk into a room, that you feel that you are ready to say what you want to say.
interesting. You said before that singing makes us happy. It has something, also some spirituality, or
Mhm.
what's the right word? Something what makes us very happy or emotional, brings light us up.
Yeah.
How would you describe that the voice is the instrument of emotion and the voice as influence?
Well, I think our voices reveal so much. So if you are upset, you can't hide it from your voice that easily. So I feel like our voices, they're very connected to our truth. And it's not easy to hide how you really feel with the voice. We're very tuned into the voice. I believe that the voice, doesn't just um it doesn't just communicate the words that we're saying, but the voice communicates also the meaning behind what we're saying, and also maybe even something about the person who's saying it, that their experience or their commitment perhaps to what they say. But the voice being so close to our truth means that it can be very powerful when we really understand our truth. So there is an element of kind of becoming closer to your own soul's truth, maybe your highest soul potential. When you start to think about what is it that's important to me to speak about. And in these times, I think it's really, really important that good people speak out more about the value of kindness or the values that they feel are being lost in a divisive kind of world. So I think your voice, if you're listening, is more important than you realize. And if you can connect with your own truth, you're connecting with something that's very unique to you. And I think that is the treasure of the voice. And I often say that your voice is a treasure because when we can communicate from that part of us, honestly, I feel like anything is possible. We can get people to support us in a better way. We can get people to cooperate in a better way. And we can help people feel understood because they will see that we're coming from a real place within ourselves.
And so true. I really agree. You know, you said very good thing that your voice is connected to true you. But don't you think that so many people, especially nowadays, are afraid of expressing themselves, afraid to tell their truth? Yesterday, I had a session, and where I explained how the jaw works and the jaw should be released. And I noticed when we do the exercises with the students, I noticed that people holding all the time, holding the emotions, holding what you say, the truth. What
Yeah.
would you recommend for those one who is not ready or maybe not allowing themselves to show, how you say, more people should show off and show up, tell the truth, but they're afraid or they
Yeah.
do not, they cannot, they have this inner barriers.
Block. Yeah, the barriers are there. And the barriers are there depends on the situation that we're in. Like that barrier might not be there when you're talking to your pets or to your child or to a dear friend. So it can depend on the situation. Sometimes it's being the teacher. Like I have to say to people, I don't want you to be perfect. But a lot of people are very self-critical. And I think it comes down to, as children, we are more playful in learning. And as adults, we become very self-critical. And we've often experienced criticism from people who should love us, perhaps family members, perhaps teachers. So what I tend to do is I tend to ask a question or two about that person, why they might be clenching up, why they might be so afraid to speak, because I can usually find one or two occasions in their life where they were maybe shut down. So they went to say something and then they were told, it's not your time to speak. Or maybe they had in a situation where they were on a stage and were about to perform, but then they forgot the lines. So sometimes a little investigation can be important in those situations. But the other approach is to unlock the physical thing. So if you can physically help to unlock that jaw, sometimes that unlocks everything else. It's like the jaw tightened because of this problem. And if we can release that jaw, somehow it'll come into the person's mind. They'll say, wow, I just realized or I've just remembered. So I would look at it from two points of view usually. And I think it's so valuable though, because if you stay with that, if you don't learn to work with that block, then you'll stay at that plateau and you can't move forward. It'll keep affecting you. To me, that's very important to start to disentangle and address in a gentle way.
True. You also work spiritually. Could you give maybe some ideas how people can handle difficult situations and release all these negative emotions and thoughts through the voice?
Hmm. Well, I think music is so powerful for releasing energy. Um, we need support. I think a lot of the time in the Western world, we're kind of very idealistic about what we can handle as individuals. And I think sometimes we do need more support, and music can be a form of support. So if you get a little playlist on your phone of your favorite music, you get out Beyonce and you listen to it and you let yourself just sing along, even if your voice is terrible, then that can be a great release for your voice. And so it depends on you as an individual. Like what music do you like? Like if it's Gareth Brooks, listen to him. But enjoy like find the music that inspires you. What can happen is we get a little stuck in a loop, like a negativity loop, and then when we're sad, we'll only listen to the sad songs. You want to probably pick songs that will switch you out of the sad stuff. So I would say, yeah, we do need a little bit of like, oh, the poor me songs. But if you are struggling, if you're feeling low, if you're feeling worried, like I think a lot of people are feeling a real general kind of worry for the world and for themselves right now. Find a song that finds a balance for you that will inspire you. I listen to spiritual music, but it can be Pharrell Williams, because I'm happy. It could be, one of Bruno Mars's songs. Like find something that inspires you because if we don't soothe ourselves like little children, we kind of need to go, it's okay, it's okay. I'm not feeling very confident right now, but that can change and we can ask for help as well. Sometimes if music isn't enough, call a friend, call a
Mm.
voice coach.
Yeah, exactly. Or both.
Do it
Better.
all.
What could you give some advice to people who would love to embrace their voices, learn more about their voices?
Oh, I just feel like it's such a treasure. Like it's the journey of exploring your voice, especially with someone you trust. So a voice coach can be so beneficial because I think it's hard for us to really see ourselves clearly. We need someone to mirror where we're at. And when you have an expert or someone who understands voice and is used to working in this way, you find it's almost like a therapy session. It's like you get this life coaching element embedded into your voice, session. Um, there's lots of ways to get started. I mean, if someone doesn't sing at all, start humming. Humming is fantastic. It actually is very good for your health. It helps to balance your vagus nerve, helps bring calm, helps you feel more chillaxed. So start with humming around the house. Like follow your curiosity. Everybody's at a different phase. If you're curious about taking voice coaching, I know that and I'm sure Katerina would be very happy to speak with you and do a free call or a one-to-one to see what the compatibility is there. But stop hesitating. This is the thing. Most of us just spend too much time procrastinating, hesitating. Take some action. Try the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 strategy, where you count backwards 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then do it. Make yourself do it. And do it because you want to do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you so much for this inspiring conversation. I love it. I really love it. I do agree with everything what you say. I just love it. Thanks a lot for coming. And yeah, see you in the next podcast. Thank you. Bye bye.